Perfect. I've been informed that we're now live. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this licensing panel for a variation of premises license for Lost and Found Beer Cafe at 298 Ditchling Road, Brighton, Bravo November 1, 6 Juliet Golf. Before we start, could I ask the councillors amongst themselves to please elect a chair?
I nominate Julie.
I second Julie.
Thank you very much.
You are the chair.
Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome this morning. The procedural business, one of them is declaration substitutes, and I am substituting for a colleague who had to pull out at the last minute. I'm deputy chair of the licensing committee and will normally chair the panels when the chair isn't available. Also, I just wanted to ask my two colleagues and myself, have we got any interest in declaration of interest in the premises? Fine, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, now there are no non-public items on the agenda, and therefore we will not be excluding the press and public for any item today. We're being webcast, as Frankie said, so we're in open session. So just to repeat, this is an application for a variation of premises licence for Lost and Found Beer Cafe, 298 Ditchling Road, Brighton, BM1 6JG. Before we start, can I please ask everyone to introduce themselves, and hopefully everyone's happy that we use first names. Please ensure that your microphone is on when speaking, and if possible your camera. Please turn off your mic and camera when you're not speaking. So I'll start with me. As I've said, Councillor Julie Cattell, Deputy Chair of Licensing Committee, and my colleagues Sam and Lucy here.
Councillor Sam Parrott, and I'm a member of the Licensing Committee.
Hello, I'm Councillor Lucy Helliwell. I'm Councillor for North Portslade, and I'm also on the Licensing Committee.
Thank you. Rebecca.
Yeah, good morning. Rebecca Siddell, Legal Advisor to the panel.
Okay. Frankie.
Good morning, yes. Frankie Mitchell, Democratic Services. I'm clerking this meeting.
Okay, Emily.
Good morning, everyone. Emily Fountain, Licensing Officer, presenting the application on behalf of the Licensing Authority.
Thank you. John Rutter? Yeah. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Textbook. Can you actually see my camera? Because I can't see myself.
You can. We can see you, yeah.
Oh, great. So I'm John Rutter. I'm Director and Manager of Lost and Found Tap Room.
Thank you very much. And Les and Leslie, are you, there's three of you there, are you all called Les and Leslie?
Two of us are. Hi, my name's Les Pond. And you also have, I'll introduce my wife, Leslie. Hello. Hence, two of us. And over
That's
here,
so cute.
We have our good neighbour,
Of course.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hosting, Les and Leslie, for your neighbour, and Sarah.
Good morning, Sarah Booker-Lewis, local democracy reporter for Brighton and Hove, representing the majority of news media in the city.
Thank you. That's all of us. Right. Okay. And now I will ask. Oh, sorry. There's some. I can hear some noises. Noises off. Could you turn your mics off, everybody, please? That's better. Thank you very much. Now I'm first going to turn to Emily so that she can read out the statement on behalf of the Licensing Authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As we've heard, this is a hearing for an application for a variation to the premises licence for Lost and Found Tap Room, 298 Ditchling Road, Brighton. The application is to increase the hours for the supply of alcohol on and off the premises from 2100 to 2300 Sunday to Thursday, and from 2200 to 0000 Friday to Saturday and bank holidays. It is also to add recorded music and late night refreshment Friday to Saturday and bank holidays 2300 until 0000. I'll leave it to the applicant to explain the proposed application in more detail. Sections 16 to 18 of the application can be found in Appendix A of today's papers. The existing licence can be found in Appendix B. 2 representations opposing and 1 supporting the application were received, and these can be seen in Appendix C. Rep A submitted further supporting information and a response to the additional conditions offered by the applicant, and this can be found in the addendum to the report. The applicant submitted an updated plan, and this can be found on page 13 of the addendum. The applicant also submitted some CCTV screenshots. These are not in the papers but have been circulated to all parties. Our statement of licensing policy includes a matrix approach for licensing decisions, which can be found on page 10 of today's agenda. The matrix model recognises the diverse operation and different risks presented by different classes of licensed premises. It provides a framework of what the licensing authority would like to see within its area and gives an indication of the likelihood of success or otherwise to investors and local businesses making applications. This premises does not fall within the cumulative impact zone or the special stress area. However, please note that the notes that accompany the matrix do state that each application is to be considered on its own merits. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Emily. Do any members of the panel have any questions for Emily? No?
Not at the moment.
Thank you. Anybody else? And Leslie or John, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just one thing, if I could, Emily. You mentioned there was 1 letter of support, but I believe, well, I know there were a large number of letters of support in addition to the one that you said specifically covers the licensing objectives.
There were some other support letters sent in, but they were deemed invalid because they either didn't relate to the licensing objectives or addresses, and the requirements weren't provided.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that explanation, Emily. Is that, sorry about that, John? It just we have to be quite strict about these things. Yep.
Understood.
Thank you very much. Now we don't have. Oh, sorry, Les. One of the people in the house. Which one of you is it?
Okay, I just wanted to inquire as part of the information I sent in. I included 4 video links that appear to have been redacted. Have they been seen by some other means? Can I inquire, Emily?
Yes. So they've been sent to the licensing panel and John, so they will have seen those.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now yes. So we're done with the questions of Emily. There are no. We don't have any responsible authorities today, i.e. the police and the licensing authority. But we do have the local residents who wish to speak. Do you, one of you going to speak, or all three of you want to say something?
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and it's good to meet you again, John. Before we actually start on the detail, there's something that's come to my attention only this morning, and that is the Brighton Hove City Council policy. And in that, it's talking about the statement of licensing policy 2021, which says licensing and planning are separate regimes, which I fully understand. Applicants are expected to have the correct planning use in place before applying for a license. Licensing does not override planning restrictions, and this is from the policy. And also, the planning enforcement policy makes it clear that using premises outside their permitted hours, use or class is unlawful, even if a license is granted. And that the source for that is Brighton Hove planning enforcement. Part of our argument is that the original planning conditions are being breached, and as I've just read out, it appears to be unlawful. So should this be able to continue?
I'll ask Rebecca to come in there.
Yes, planning and licensing are separate regimes, and the statutory guidance does make that clear. So while I think the policy says the preferred approach would be to have the correct planning permission first, it's not necessary, and the guidance itself, the statutory guidance at 14.65 onwards, does make it clear that they will be separated. They involve different, albeit related matters, and licensing committees are not bound by decisions made by a planning committee and vice versa. And there are circumstances when, as a condition of a planning permission, a terminal hour has been set where these hours are different. The applicant must observe the earlier closing time. So premises operating in breach of their planning permission would be liable to prosecution under planning law. So I mean, I think the panel may want to find out the approach of the applicant in respect of this, but it doesn't bind this committee. This committee can still consider this application.
Yes, I see. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for making that clear. One thing I was going to ask you, Les, have you reported this breach to the, or what you see to be a breach, to the planning enforcement team?
Although I'm not meant to be saying yes, I have, because I'll get anonymity.
Oh.
I'm quite happy to do so. Yes, I have raised a case, and I provided the details to Emily,
Okay.
so that's in hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. We weren't aware of that. I see John's got his hand up now.
Yeah, just to say that we are aware that planning is separate, and we are speaking to a planning team, and we'll, once this is over, we plan to go to planning.
Thank you very much. Okay, now Les, would you like to put your case forward on behalf of yourself and your neighbours? Oh, and your wife and your neighbours, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if Barbara wants me to speak on her behalf.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Good.
So, okay, looking outside the planning enforcement aspects, where clearly we're in breach in any case, and of course the original application, it's made quite clear that it's not applying for the premises to be a bar or pub. That quite clearly has changed now. But that aside, our prime concern is the noise aspect, and the videos which we provided were taken on I think it was the 9th of August at a late hour, certainly beyond the licensing hours, the official licensing hours. There may have been an extension that night, and I suspect there was. Thank you, John. I thought there was. But it was really to demonstrate that there were members of the public using the licensed tables and chairs, which also needed to cease at 9 o'clock that evening, according to their license. So they were still being used on the pavement. And of course, there were tables and chairs being used on the private terrace outside. The prime real thing was to show, or to give you an indication of the level of noise that we get. It's reflected across from the other side of Ditchling Road, and it egresses into our street. And particularly late at night when the traffic dies down. And if we're all trying to sleep upstairs with windows open on nice hot summer nights, which is when naturally people want to be outside, it really does become difficult. In fact, my wife has actually moved to change bedrooms on one occasion because she couldn't get to sleep. Barbara, I know that you're probably affected worse than us, but
it is very bad. Yes, we are very, very upset by it. And the fact that even when the place is closed, people still gather on the streets and say good night to each other without any thought of anyone else being in the area at all.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so if this proceeds and we ignore the planning condition side of things, talking on behalf of Leslie and myself, we don't have any objections to the licence, providing safeguards are put in place to protect the public from the noise, and we've stated that in writing. So if we could, and we've suggested, following John's kind suggestion of withdrawing tables and chairs from 9:30, albeit it's beyond the licensing permission, we've suggested, like Rustico next door to John and the pub 2 doors down from John, they withdraw their seats around about 9 o'clock. Technically, Rustico have to do it from 8:30, but not worried about half an hour. It'd be nice if we could bring all the establishments into line and make sure that 9 o'clock there is no outside seating, and that includes on the private terrace as well as on the pavement. Anything else you want to add at all?
The people congregating outside as well, because they were outside just standing till 10:30 the other night.
Yes, on Saturday night we drove home, and about 10:20 we parked our car the opposite end of the 5 ways in our street, and we could hear crowd noise. So I walked towards where the noise was coming from, and there was a group of men standing outside on the private terrace and on the pavement, and they were drinking. So another example of how it's not being controlled at the moment. I think that's probably all I need to say at this time, because I've given you so much information in the paperwork. Are there any questions at all?
Obviously, I'd like a right to reply to that, but I don't want to jump in if I'm out of turn.
I think we just need to see where the chair's gone before we continue. She may have had some connection problems.
Yeah, if we give it just a second, I'll see if I can get them back. There we are. It looks like we've got Councillor Cattell back.
Yes, sorry about that. That sometimes happens. I had to we had to postpone one, and while I dashed in the car to the town hall once, so sorry about that. Yes, what I said was, colleagues Sam and Lucy, are there any questions of Les and Leslie?
Yeah, I would like a couple of questions. So a lot of this is you're worried about the noise after closing. So what I'm just wondering is what's the difference in the noise that's coming from the Lost and Found versus the pub or the restaurant, and how are you distinguishing between the 3 different venues, as they are all virtually next door to each other?
Yeah, good question. The pub is sufficiently rounding the corner in Ditchling Road that we don't get the reflected noise from the front of the property. Would you agree?
Yes, yeah. I agree.
Rustico are very good. They comply with their planning conditions. They close the front of their property and remove the seating between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. So we don't, even though they're still open, we don't hear anything, very little. And what we're not suggesting that John closes his establishment at 9 o'clock. Far from it. You know, we're just saying we want nothing outside, please, and the doors and windows to be closed, which when I met John a few weeks ago, he very kindly offered to do that because there was air conditioning inside the premises. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Sam?
My question was actually the same as Lucy's.
Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah. That's fine. John, do you have any questions for Les and Leslie and Barbara?
There we go. Yes. So whilst the pub is round the corner, what I would say is that the Five Ways Pub garden, which is open till very late, does back directly onto the objector's house, I believe.
Yes.
So while you may not hear noise reflected from Ditchling Road, there must be an awful lot of noise. I hear it when I walk home. So there must be a lot of noise you can hear from that pub.
Sorry, that would be true. Since they've opened their rear garden, it has got very noisy.
Yeah.
Fortunately, our children have now moved out, and because we try to sleep in the front of the house, and I think you're the same, it doesn't affect us as much, unless we have the rear windows and doors open. But of course, you and yourself are not using the back garden. You're only using the front. So we're only concerned with the front at this time.
Okay. But I mean, to answer it generally, we do pride ourselves on being a community venue. Everything we do is for the community. We have Five Ways Artist Group on the walls that we...
Sorry, John, sorry to interrupt you there. I will ask you next to put your case forward.
Sorry, I was just replying.
No, that's fine. You kind of jumped ahead a step, but
sorry.
I will rather than because you were answering their question, and that's
okay. Just to finish answering that specific point, then I am very happy to work with the neighbours with regards to hard and fast rule as to when the chairs come in, if the patio needs to be shut at a certain time, etc., etc. I spoke to Les, and as I said to Les at the time, it would be really helpful, I think, if you just come in and talk to me. I don't think you've ever been in. Come and have a chat and say, look, last night this happened, that happened, it's out of order, and we'll put steps in.
Okay, so now would you like to present your case, John?
Yeah, so I've just got a little statement, and then I'll run through the objectives. Be just a 3-minute read, if that's okay with everyone. Just to set out what we are, what we do. So we're a very highly regarded, unique, independent venue in Brighton. This application is supported by a robust set of proposed conditions and demonstrates a clear commitment to responsible retailing. No objections have been raised from the responsible authorities, Sussex Police, Environmental Health, indicating that there are no concerns regarding compliance with the licensing objectives. Whilst 2 objections have been received from local residents, their concerns have been carefully considered and proportionate measures are already in place to address them. At a time of steeply increasing overheads, we're seeking an extension of opening hours in order to better serve our customers and to support the continued growth of our business. We're known for our safe, friendly and inclusive atmosphere, our carefully curated range of local craft beers and our ongoing commitments to the community initiatives and charities. We've become a popular meeting place for both residents and visitors. We were surprised to learn of concerns regarding potential noise disturbance, as issues have never been raised with us previously. We operate responsibly and with consideration for our neighbours. Measures are already in place to minimise disruption, including controlled music levels, respectful closing procedures and clear communication with our customers. We believe extending our opening hours will not only enhance our availability to thrive as a small independent business, but will also further enrich Brighton's vibrant social and cultural scene. We remain committed to engaging positively with the community and addressing concerns, while ensuring the tap room continues to be a safe, welcoming and responsibly managed space for all. I can then run through the licensing objectives one by one. Crime and disorder. We obviously have an exemplary record in preventing crime and disorder. Every temporary event notice been applied for has been granted and completed without incident. Robust management procedures are in place, including CCTV inside and outside the premises, comprehensive staff training on responsible alcohol service, and effective communication with customers. The evidence of any objections from Sussex Police, the absence of any objections from Sussex Police provides a clear indication that there are no concerns regarding the way we manage this objective. On to public safety. The safety of our customers and staff is of paramount importance. Led by an experienced management team, we employ 7 local people who are fully trained in responsible alcohol service and customer care. The layout of our venue and our operating procedures are designed to ensure customer safety at all times, with careful control of capacity and clear exit routes. All relevant health and safety obligations are met, and our consistent 5-star Google review ratings reflect the confidence and trust customers place in our venue. Public nuisance. We recognise the importance of protecting our neighbours from nuisance and have now taken significant steps to minimise disturbance. Our planning consent is adhered to strictly, and our business model is on a taste and takeaway rather than operating as a traditional bar. And of course, I'll be happy to expand on that if required. On the 9th of August, the night mentioned earlier, a temporary event notice permitted sales until midnight. The independent video recordings from that evening confirmed that customer noise was not really any greater than passing traffic, whilst all subsequent CCTV evidence shown to you shows that customers do not congregate outside the premises, even at weekends. There's been no evidence of loud music, car door slamming, or any other disturbances linked to our operations. If objectors are experiencing disturbance, it may reasonably originate from other licensed premises in the immediate area, such as the Five Ways Public House, which directly backs onto the objector's gardens. We also hold a valid pavement licence and comply with it strictly to ensure that tables and chairs do not obstruct the public highway. In addition, we maintain controlled music levels, implement respectful closing procedures, and encourage responsible behaviour through clear communication with our customers. Where concerns are raised, we're prepared to accept any responsible conditions the licensing authority considers necessary to ensure full compliance with this objective. Lost and Found Tap Room operates in a safe and inclusive manner. We do not market ourselves as a bar. Instead, our business model focuses on promoting locally produced beers and spirits for responsible adult consumption on and off the premises. All staff are trained in Challenge 25 procedures to ensure that alcohol is never served to underage customers. Our community-focused events, such as book clubs and art sessions, attract a broad and responsible audience, and our venue certainly does not encourage high volume or irresponsible drinking. So, in conclusion, Lost and Found operates a distinctive, community-driven business model that is fully consistent with all 4 licensing objectives. We support local breweries and distilleries, provide secure employment for 7 staff members, and serve as a hub for community events and charitable initiatives. This application has strong local support with numerous letters of backing from residents and customers, and importantly, no objections from responsible authorities. The application therefore satisfies the statutory test and will contribute positively to Brighton's economy and community life. And for these reasons, we respectfully request that the licensing authority grant this application. So that's what I had prepared. And then, of course, I'm very happy to answer anything.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, John. Lucy and Sam, do you have any questions of John?
Can I ask about the... Sorry, thanks, Julie. Can I ask about the outside space at the back and why you don't use that as, like the pub does?
Yeah, so
if you have outside space at the back.
Yeah, unfortunately, space is at a premium here. I'd love to have that outside space, but there's a flat above, and unfortunately, everything out the back is theirs. So all we have is an emergency exit out the back, so we can go into their garden for an emergency, but it's literally it's their garden, sadly.
Perfect. All right, sorry. Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Okay, Lucy.
Yes. So I've got some questions, John. So looking at these proposals that you've accepted, so you've got 9:30 for windows and doors.
And it's literally 1 door. That's all we have.
Okay, and the external drinking areas should be cleared by 10:30. is there any way we can, would you accept pushing that forward to 10? I think 10 is fairly reasonable.
If that's what the committee deems reasonable, we will happily go along with it. If it keeps our neighbours happy and it keeps you happy, we'll be more than happy. It's important to work together.
Yeah, okay. I haven't obviously discussed this, and we'll have to do this. So, so no outside areas should be used after, except to those that leave to smoke. So then that would change to 10 as well, number 3. For the outside area, sorry, have we got, sorry, I've just got the conditions up there. Outside seating and tables, that's fine. And then, yeah, so the dispersal policy, what were you thinking of for this dispersal policy to make sure that the area is clear and quiet for your residents?
Well, we'll give 20 minutes notice with a bell, fair warning to drinker, then we'll another bell when it's time to close the premises. Everything's clearly lit. The tables will be out of use outside, and then we can make sure there's an awning that we'll pull in, so it's certainly not comfortable for anyone to stand outside. And then we can just make sure everyone's gone. We're seldom that busy here. We're a very, very quiet venue. I mean, if you can see behind me, that's it. So it doesn't take long. If people do gather outside, we'll just ask them to move on. It's very well lit. We've got CCTV in and out.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. That's all I've got for the moment.
Thank you. Les and Leslie and Barbara, have you got anything that you'd like to ask?
Yes, please. Do you want? Okay.
No, I mean,
firstly, I would endorse the community spirit that's being promoted by Lost and Found, because we can see what's going on, and it's very impressive. The noise is our biggest concern. So there's a couple of points, if I may, from what you said. You said that on the 9th, you had a licensing until midnight.
Yep.
And yet I was listening to the music in bed at 12:50.
Well, maybe my staff were here. I wasn't here, so I don't know for a fact, but obviously my staff would still be here clearing up. Maybe they kept the music on. I don't know. But maybe if it was a warm night, the door was open as well. I don't know again, but obviously from now on, we have a clear policy that's set up. We've got reminders on the till that, well, the till's an iPad, so the reminder comes up there every day to the chairs outside, the chairs on the patio, shut the door at 9:30. It comes up so that the staff are reminded every single day to do that. And if it was open, I do apologise if you were disturbed that night. But again, I say that I like to think I'm a very affable guy. Just come in and have a chat with me, please.
I don't think you'd like me in my pajamas.
Well, you were out there with a video camera, so I mean,
Yeah.
you could have just popped in. You could have just popped in and said, "Look, it's a bit noisy. Can you turn it down?"
Yeah.
That
Okay.
would probably be an easier way of dealing with it. And we're very approachable, very friendly bunch. We're obviously we really want to get on with you, so we'll try and make you happy.
Really appreciate that.
No problem.
Can I just remind everyone that the planning conditions state no sampling of alcohol after 2100 hours, Monday to Friday and Sunday, and 2200 hours on Saturday. And that matches your current license. It also says that the sampling of alcohol should be incidental to the main use of the site, which is retail. And yet we're increasing the licensing hours by a considerable number of hours. That's another 9 hours a week.
Do you want me to jump in?
Yes, please. I know.
Yeah.
I just to remind everybody that licensing and planning are two separate regimes, but we felt it was important for you to be able to raise this so that we could get some explanation on your behalf. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, our business model is without the retail, we couldn't survive. The idea is we have 6 taps with draft beer on, all local, all beautiful, usually the latest exciting new beer from Brighton Beer, from Abyss in Lewis, from somewhere in Haywards Heath, Worthing, wherever. That's generally our area. People come in, they try the exciting new beer, and of course we then have it in cans to take away. We also have people come in who may see a small local brewery for the first time. We might well have one of their beers on tap and they'll think, gosh, I enjoyed that. There's 2 or 3 others in can form that we can take away. Let's try what else they have to offer. So obviously we're supporting the local breweries, but that upsell in cans is everything to us. I mean, we sell, I ordered about 10 cases of cans last week, so 240 of them. Just gives you an idea how many. So we probably sell the best part of £1,000 a week in cans. So it is a significant part of what we do. So people do drink on site, but that leads to the upsell of cans to take away, without which we probably couldn't survive. So if we ran as a bar, we probably couldn't survive with increasing overheads particularly. And this month I couldn't even pay myself. So even though we are prospering, we're thriving, we're up about 5% on last year, it's those overheads that are killing us. And just this extra 1 hour, as we have to stop at 9, a lot of locals come out for a catch up. By the time they've got in from work, had dinner, put the kids to bed, they'll say, get here at 8, and we have to stop serving them at 9. So it'll be nice just to have that extra hour for a couple of ladies from over the road who want to have a nice relaxing glass of wine together, just to have that little bit of extra time. And just that extra bit of income for that hour will be critical for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any more questions, Les? No? Rebecca?
Yeah, no, through you, Chair. I can see you've got an outside area, and some of it is subject to a pavement licence. Is that right?
Yes, we have. So we have a patio immediately outside, a small patio. We can fit 3 tables, and then we have a pavement licence, so we can go out another metre beyond that along the front of the building.
And does the pavement licence say 9 p.m. to?
It does.
So how would you envisage managing that if you were opening the other area later?
Opening that, so as I say, we've got reminders set up now, so that at 9 o'clock we have if the staff do forget, our iPad is everything. It's got our diary, our till, and everything on. So if customers are using that till, at 9 o'clock there's a big thing that comes up saying, bring the tables in. Pavement licence one's at 9. Then at 9:30, keep the front door shut from now on, etc. So we do have a reminder set up every day, so they will know. But they know anyway, but people forget in life. On a busy night, get distracted.
So you're putting the outside area into 2 parts then, so you'll always, so some
it is 2 parts, yeah. So the patio, yes, so we've got pavement licence till 9, but then the patio area immediately out front, we'd like to use slightly beyond 9, say till 10, after which we will either bring the tables in, if there's room, if it's say a Monday or a Tuesday, but because it's such a tiny venue, even if we fold the tables up, they do take up a significant space. So what we'll plan to do is just fold them up and leave them on the patio so they can't be used, and then we'll bring them in later that night.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
Thank you for asking that, Rebecca. Yeah, that's a very good question. Les?
Sorry, you had a question. You had to ask.
Well, I was just going to say we don't object to the extension of the licensing hours. It literally is that there are no people outside the front after 9 o'clock congregating, standing there talking and drinking.
Yeah, the idea that it would just be smokers after a certain time when we have to shut the patio down, as it were. So the very front bit on the pavement, that will have to shut at 9. The tables will come in, and then we'll have to discuss a time when the patio out the front is out of use. And after that time, it will just be smokers. As I said, we've got a new awning, which works really well, but we'll bring that in as well so that it is as uncomfortable for people as possible.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, hello.
I'm sorry, I'm Barbara's partner and I live next door. My name is Dudley. People come to your bar to taste and then you sell them cans. So
Yep.
What is to stop them going outside and drinking those cans until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night?
Well, they can't, because we have a dispersing policy, and we won't want people hanging around
So
outside.
you actually disperse them. You say go away, do you?
Well, after our staff, technically speaking, our staff could go home when the place is shut, and they may come back.
I'm talking about your staff. I'm talking about your customers.
But sorry.
I'm talking about your customers. How do you disperse people standing outside your place, drinking cans of beer that you've just sold them?
Well, generally, people take the cans away. I very, very rarely remember people drinking cans outside.
What the hell are they standing out there drinking for until 10 or standing out there for, making a lot of noise until 10 or 11 o'clock at night? Because they jolly well are.
Well,
we see them and we hear them.
Well, you say they are, but I've sent CCTV pictures from outside our place at weekends. And I think you may have a copy of it.
At weekends, they have a later license anyway.
There factually hasn't been anyone there. I mean, I'll happily continue to send you CCTV pictures in the evening, but the ones I've sent, you'll see that every Friday and Saturday, there's nobody there, apart from that one time a temporary event notice.
Your whole policy is, you come in and taste our beer, and then we sell you beer. And then you go outside and drink it. No.
The idea is you take it away. The can is generally taken home.
Well, that's what they're meant to do. But I mean, there certainly is a huge congregation outside your premises at night. We see it and we hear it.
But the CCTV pictures I've sent show otherwise. With respect, there's nobody there.
But we know they're there because we hear them on a regular basis.
I don't understand how your business model works. If people are just coming in there and tasting something and going away, there wouldn't be any problem. They're obviously not doing that. They're obviously drinking.
Well, they are allowed to drink on the premises and chat and have a catch up. We like to think of ourselves as a welcoming community hub. And that's something we'll stand by. But there's very few people sit outside with a can of beer.
You're portraying this as a place where you go tasting and then you take the beer away. That isn't what we see.
Sorry, can I just interject here? I think what John has been saying is that people can buy beer on tap or from the can to drink on the premises, and then buy cans to take away.
Yeah, but he says everything will close down at 9 o'clock and there'll be no more noise. That doesn't happen.
No,
that could well be because they're carrying cans outside and drinking them. I don't know.
But with respect to showing you the CCTV pictures, you've got still pictures of our actual CCTV outside our premises over the last month, and it shows nobody outside.
That's ridiculous because
that's not true. I'm sorry. I mean, we hear it and we see it
on a very regular basis.
I don't know what, Steve, where you've got your pictures from, but they're not on the nights that we see in here.
Well, they're timed and dated from every single weekend ever since we saw your objection. So all I can suggest is, if there is noise you can hear, perhaps it's from the Five Ways pub that backs directly on.
We know the difference. We
don't hear the Five Ways pub. We never have. It's right round the corner. And the restaurant is not noisy.
I think your garden backs onto their garden, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, can I just?
We're talking about the front, not the back.
The front.
Sorry, can I just interject again? So, John, your policy is if somebody comes into your premises and says, "I'd like half a dozen cans to take away."
Yeah.
And then if they went out and then sat on the the terrace and started opening one of those cans, would you say to them, "Please, that's not you're not allowed to do that"? How do you deal with this?
If it's first of all, that hardly ever happens. People don't tend to drink cans on site. Cans are generally taken away. if it's in licensing hours, they are fully entitled to do that. But once it's closing time, we'll ask them to disperse. And the CCTV shows from every weekend since this objection came in that there is nobody outside.
So actually, you're saying that we're lying.
Well, I've sent CCTV. I'll happily show you as well. I'm sure you've been sent copies of them. If not, I'll happily.
But we experience it on a regular basis.
Have you actually seen people, you know, I mean, it's not uncommon for people to congregate outside a bar or a pub or something.
Yeah, we
or a
have seen
restaurant.
it.
So, yeah, but have you actually seen people with cans of beer in their hand?
No, we just eat
frankly. You see people congregating and they're clearly drinking.
Sorry, but are they drinking cans of beer outside?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so that's that's what I think. That's what you said. You seemed to say that people were congregating outside the pub and drinking.
What I said was, what is to stop them doing that if all this bar is a tasting bar?
That's the point.
It clearly is not a tasting bar, and that is the license it has at the moment.
What?
But if you're not seeing people outside, I'm not quite sure what
I'm saying
the issue is.
Well, the issue is that they can take the beer outside and drink it after the hours that the place claims to be closing.
But what I would say is that the CCTV shows that there is nobody else.
So the whole point about this is a tasting bar. It's not a pub. It's a tasting bar. You come in and taste, and then you take away the cans. At least that's what I understood you to say.
Yeah. However, at the moment,
2 hours tasting, do you?
But in our experience, there is nobody outside drinking cans, as the CCTV evidence shows.
Okay, but they're drinking.
Yes, it is. If this did happen, often, as you say, you would come round with your video camera and film it, and you would have more evidence today. But I think the fact that you haven't found any since then.
No, it's since
the noise possibly isn't coming from us.
I think we're to extend the license. This is what we're concerned about, because we don't want it longer on a Thursday as well as a.
We don't actually feel you're running the place at the moment in under the terms of the license you've got, because it seems to me people are drinking outside, and that is not the basis of your license. It was a tasting bar.
Okay, yeah, but we also like to. It's very nice.
So you've already changed the terms already, regardless of the fact that your license hasn't changed.
So it's nice for customers to sit outside and taste beer in the sunshine, because you get the evening sun directly onto us, and it's a nice experience for them.
Fine, but after dark.
What I've also suggested before is that just because we can open to 11, we almost certainly won't open to 11. We're quiet on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and by 9 o'clock there's nobody here anyway, generally. So the chance we're not going to stay open till 11 if there's
I don't think we're complaining about what happens on Monday. We're not complaining about what happens on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's what's happening the rest of the week. It's the end of the week, obviously. Normally, it's with any place like that.
So sorry, everybody. I'm kind of struggling to see where we're coming from here, because earlier on, you were Leslie and Barbara. You were saying you had no objection to the extension of the licensing, for the extension of the licensing hours, but you're now saying that you're not happy with
what I'm saying is that the existing license is not being applied. They're not.
So are you saying?
So sorry, is there any likelihood that they're going to stick to a new license if you give them a further license?
So I see that. So that's what you're saying. You're saying you don't have confidence that they will stick to this new.
I think they're clearly not sticking to it now, and they won't if you extend it when it becomes midnight, not 11 o'clock. You know?
Well, one thing that you can do, if we as a panel are minded to grant the license today, then and there are regular circumstances where the licensing the licensing conditions are breached, then you can call it in for review. You have the power to do that as residents.
But we can call the police, but that doesn't, that doesn't.
No, it's not the police. No, sorry. No, you can call it in to us as a panel again to review. to see. In other words, has it worked? And if you do have clear evidence that the licensing conditions have been breached on a regular basis, then you can ask us to review it, and we can.
Tell me what you regard as a regular basis.
Well, it's how often it upsets you. I mean, if you're going to say every, I'm talking about if we grant these extra conditions, these extra times, we don't have the resources to monitor that. So we have to rely on you as residents. If you feel unhappy and you feel that it's being that the rules are being breached, or the conditions are being breached.
Well, that's what we think is happening now.
Yes, and that's what and what has happened. John has applied for this, for this extension.
In retrospect, it sounds.
Yeah, but that's not an issue. We can't. He's entitled to do that.
Well, what I'm saying is he isn't obliging by the license he's got at the moment.
But I think we can't refuse it. If we wanted to refuse it, it wouldn't be for that reason. We have to look at what how he's achieving the licensing objectives. Rebecca, I'll bring you in now. Thank you.
Well, I'm just saying, I think the applicant is denying that he's in breach of any license at the moment. I think that's what he's saying. I mean, there isn't such a thing as a tasting license in licensing terms. That might be something to do with planning, but it isn't. It's obviously their way of operating to an extent, but there isn't any such thing as such. It's on sales and off sales. So I think we've got to be careful as a panel that there isn't. You're obviously in disagreement about whether people are staying after the outside hours. The conditions that have been offered say that they should be seated. I don't know if the applicant wants to comment on that as well. They should be seated outside, so people shouldn't be standing.
Yeah, I'm happy to comply if that's the panel's decision, and that's something you want us to comply with. We'll happily go along with it. But again, as I say, there is clear evidence from every weekend available to you all from our CCTV that shows that there clearly isn't a crowd outside our place at night. If you've all got the pictures, if you'd like to look at them, it's deserted. Every Friday and Saturday I've sent to you since we received the objection. So people can say there's noise, there's rowdy people drinking cans or anything they like, but the facts are there. It's timed, it's dated. It's quite irrefutable, I think.
Les, there's your hand up there. Does somebody in the room want to speak again?
Yeah, yes, if I may. It's just
sure.
to remind you that thanks for the photos, John. The only one that was missing was the 9th of the 8th, which of course is the one I submitted the video of the crowd outside drinking. And also, as I mentioned earlier in this meeting, on last Saturday at 10:20, there was a crowd of people standing outside because there was no seats, drinking. So this is going on, and up to now, it was. I think, in fairness, we have tolerated the noise until we saw the licensing application, and hence we've responded with one evening that was videoed to give a demonstration of how the noise is affecting us. I don't walk around with my video camera, John, rest assured, and I will always be dressed. I won't be in my pajamas when I come round to knock on.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Glad to hear
that. We don't want to have to police this. We're raising that there is an issue that we're concerned with, and if a license is granted, that we would like some protection in place, please.
Yep, that's fair enough. And obviously, I go back to saying we need to work with our neighbours and community. That's what we're all about. So I'm happy to work with you and the licensing committee. But coming back to the specific point about Saturday, we did have a temporary event notice. It's a lady from Hertford School. It's her son's birthday, is his 30th. And we did have a licence till midnight. And I know that all the tables were out of use and the awning was brought in to make it as uncomfortable as possible. So the only people outside there would have been smokers. and they would have got wet as well.
Yeah, it rained on Saturday night.
Yeah, so well, it's true, Les. We did well.
Yeah, there was. I saw a large group of men outside with glasses of beer, and they were drinking and talking.
Well,
when you say they were outside, were they on the terrace, on the patio, or were they on the street?
Both.
Well, I can go through the CCTV, but they were entitled to be there. But I mean, so there's two ways of looking at this. If you say they were standing, and that's you were upset about, we could keep the tables on the patio in place till later, if that suits you. But I thought the idea was that we put the tables and chairs on our patio out of use to discourage people to go out there.
Yeah.
So what we did, because that's our new closing policy, that from 9:30 the doors shut, 10 o'clock nothing on the patio is available for people to use, so that it discourages them to stand out there.
Because another thing that I've come across on, having done lots of these panels, is that one of the conditions that we put in is, and it's quite more often not in the centre of the city, that if you're going outside for a cigarette, you can't take your drink with you. And
okay.
that's something. I mean, because a lot of the licensed premises in the city centre, which are was more heavily controlled, they have door staff who will not allow you to take your drink out. If you're going out for a cigarette. Is that something? Does that make sense to you, Les? Yeah. So, in other words, do you think some of the people you saw were outside having a cigarette and drinking as well?
Undoubtedly. I don't think they were all smoking, but I think that would certainly help.
Okay, so is that something that you're prepared to consider, John?
Yeah, very happy to comply. Very happy. I just want to keep everyone happy, particularly, of course, our near neighbours. So if that's what they want, that's what we'll do. Fine.
Okay. So I suppose what we need to do now, if everybody has, are you everybody in the room with Les and Leslie? Have you got any more questions?
I don't understand why this policy hasn't been worked up till now. If all these conditions were already in place up until a certain time at night, the fact of the matter is we're still being disturbed. So why haven't these people been stopped going outside at a certain time?
If it hasn't been brought to our attention, then we can't, as a licensing authority, do anything about it. I'm not
suggesting it's your problem. I'm suggesting that the staff, who are so well trained and informed, why haven't they kept an eye on what is happening, that they don't allow people out after a certain time?
Well, they are very well trained. They're very experienced. So
they're not doing their job very well, I have to say.
So we've never been made aware previously by you or anyone else.
We shouldn't have to. You're supposed to conform to the licensing laws and whatever it is. We shouldn't have to go around telling you what is right and what is wrong. It shouldn't be a wrong issue, is it? It should be right all the time. We don't have problems with Rustico. They manage to adhere to whatever conditions have been laid down. We don't have any problems with the front of the pub. They conform. Why should it be that you are different? Why should you flout whatever conditions?
We do our best to comply and conform and keep everyone happy, I assure you.
You're not, are you? You're not. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here now explaining our frustration.
Okay, but I mean, none of our immediate neighbours have mentioned it, and you haven't mentioned it, but it seems to be a case that noise from the front bounces off the, if I'm correct, off the shops opposite and then down the road and into your bedroom. For example, there's a girl that lives, her bedroom is immediately above me here. She's never complained about any noise complaints.
Okay, but we are.
People opposite or anyone else. But as I say, just let us know. Well, if you do have complaints, I'd hate to think that you're harbouring anger or resentment towards us. Just let us know and we'll resolve it amicably.
Well, we haven't got a clue who we're talking to.
Just coming with only one member of staff. It's not a big place.
Only one member of staff.
Well, today it's a Monday, so it'll just be me on my own. But obviously, in busier times, we're well staffed. We have extra staff.
Yes, well, you probably need more staff then to control the hordes that stand outside.
Again, there are hordes outside, but
I don't think we're getting anywhere at the
No, we
moment
won't.
with this.
And we won't, because he says black and we say white.
I think the fact that John has actually now applied, and as I said, if he isn't complying with the license that if we grant it today, then, as I said, you can call it in for a review, and we can go through this again, and you can provide evidence if necessary, if that's what we're minded to do today. Sam, would you like to ask a question or say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the idea of keeping the tables longer, because sometimes, you know, a long time ago as a barmaid, what I would find is that, or bar person, what I would find is that people, if they're standing, will often go and stand in larger groups, whereas if they're sitting and there's nowhere to sit, if they're not smoking, they'll go back indoors and quite quickly. So I was just wondering about the suggestion of if the tables were kept longer, would it kind of reduce the number of people? Does that make sense? Or I don't know, it was just a thought, really.
Yep, well, I mean, we're back to this Saturday night's case, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm just thinking,
along with whatever.
10's license, and you've got people, you know, if they're coming out, if you've got 2 or 3 people coming out to have a cigarette, other people may join them to carry on the conversation. Where if it is only, this is a space to sit and have a cigarette and then go back in again, it can actually reduce it, maybe.
Mm.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
We're happy to comply with whatever you feel best.
John did say that he would stop the tables at 10 o'clock, so that the chairs and tables would be there.
Yeah.
Till 10.
That was the idea, but then I think Les said it was 10:20 after the tables had been put out of use that he said the noise. So it would have been people standing around. So we'll have to decide whether it's less disruptive to have the tables remain there until close, maybe, or we stick with the 9 o'clock.
Well, once we put the conditions in, though, that's what you have to stick to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that, Lucy. It was just
No, I was saying to John, where he's saying whether the tables are here or not. I'm saying once.
But the later the license is allowed to stay open, the longer people are going to be standing up. I mean, people will always congregate outside for a while after a place closes. If it's 9 o'clock it closes, it'll probably be 10 o'clock before they've all dispersed anyway. So the later you make the license, the later the noise is going to go on.
I kind of feel like we're going around in a circular argument.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Chair.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I mean, there's clearly, you know, conflict here, and I thought we were getting on very well earlier, and now all these, you know, this has been raised, and I think, I mean, yeah, and I don't know how we're going to resolve it, because both parties are saying different things. I think we need to move on now, and so that we can do the summaries, and if people want to do summaries, and then we go into closed session for discussion. I think, Rebecca, can I just ask your advice on that? I don't think there's any point in taking this further with this same point. I think we need to move on.
No, I think that's right. It's up to you to canvass any measures that you think might be appropriate, and I think you've done that. The outside area does need to be managed. It should be managed, and if there are conditions on it, then they need to be adhered to. And as the chair has said, one condition is to stop people taking drinks out with a cigarette. That might be something the panel could consider, because then people aren't standing with the drinks. So a slightly earlier closing time for the outside, which has been canvassed. So,
and we're only talking about that is for the outside. Inside is later. I think the other thing is, because it is quite a small area, really, maybe restricting the number of people that go out for a cigarette. I know it's really difficult to do that, but if there,
Yes, that has been done before. I mean, I don't know whether that's something that the applicant would consider, or whether it's necessary, whether it isn't an issue. I don't know.
It's something we would take on board. I think the best suggestion I've heard so far is the new one, that people don't go out with a drink. I think that would probably help more than anything. They can go out and smoke and then come back in with a drink, and we can have a clear sign on the door, which will be shut then, so it will be right in their face as they leave the building that they can't take a drink outside after 9:30, whatever it is, 10 p.m.
But I was also suggesting the possibility that restricting the number of people that can go out there at one time, because even if you haven't got a drink in your hand, you've got a cigarette in your hand, you might still be noisy. But I don't know how we do that. I think
very difficult.
But we are doing the best we can within what powers are available to us to look at how we can resolve the issue of the noise outside.
But I think it's very difficult to ask the landlord to do that. I don't see how he could possibly manage to do it.
Manage to do what? Sorry.
To limit the number of people who go outside at any one time. I mean, that's a very difficult thing.
It happens in the city centre.
Does it? I'm surprised.
Yes, no. Well, I'm just saying that because things are more controlled, licensing is stricter in the city centre in what we call the cumulative impact zone. We can impose these conditions because I mean, there's a lot of bars and pubs and things that are quite close to residential premises in the city centre, like in North Lane. So we do, as long as John is in agreement, and we can. That's why we're canvassing him to ask him to see, you know, what is possible. So we're trying to do our best to restrict that noise outside.
Absolutely, councillor. We will do that. We'll happily. So the only times people generally, there are a number of people outside, would be at weekends when I have more staff on, and they would have to keep going outside to collect empty glasses, any cans, etc., clear the tables, wipe out any mess. And so we would make very regular visits to the outside, and we can, if you want to give us a maximum number of people that are on the patio area and or the pavement license in front, give us a maximum for each area or a total, whatever it is, we can easily comply with that, because we're often visiting outside. Every few minutes we'll go outside. Anyway.
So is it seating outside only? I don't know how many covers you've got outside.
So we've got a small patio area immediately outside the front, and we can put 3 trestle tables on there. And then in front of that, we have 2 trestle tables out the front, which is the pavement license. So we've got.
So is that it? I was looking at this on Google Street. So you've got the balustrade bit, the glass balustrade, and then you've got some flower boxes. Yeah.
So there's 3 on that patio area, 3 tables there inside the glass balustrade, and then the pavement license is immediately in front of that.
So what about the flower boxes? The flower boxes.
So we've got loads of flower boxes here.
Oh no, I was just looking at Google Street, and there is like the balustrade, and then there are low planters in front. So where do the tables?
So the tables are literally where those planters are.
Okay, so you bring them in at night?
They go out not even 30 centimetres. They're very.
Okay. So right. Okay. So
very thin.
How many covers would that be?
There's 2 on the pavement area.
Well, the whole outside area, how many covers?
Okay, so on the pavement area, there's 2 tables. You could get, they're really for 4, but you could squeeze 6 in on each table with a push. So 12 out the front. And then we have smaller tables on the patio, but there's 3 of them. So say 12.
So 24 covers.
12 and yes.
24. So that is the maximum that you could have
seated.
Comfortably have out there, and they're mostly people seated. Do people stand out there as well?
Yes.
They could do.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so I just wanted to see what the extent of it could be. Okay.
I'm not sure if it's relevant now, but Mr. Pond was talking about the area that we have our patio pavement license, where we put our tables. He feels they're in the way where they are, but we're putting them exactly where the council have told us to put them. Now, we're happy to work with you to put them somewhere else if you feel and our neighbours feel it's better elsewhere. We'll happily comply. We'll happily work with you and suggest an alternative place. But I'm not sure this is the right area, but we're happy to do that. But again, I can't put them anywhere other than where the council have told me to put them. So for now, that's where they are.
Yeah, I think when it comes to pavement licence, things like width of pavement allowable for pedestrians to go past is taken into consideration. So it's a slightly different regime.
Yeah, there's still a good few metres.
It's a big pavement. But you have 24 covers out there, and then you've got people standing. It's perfectly reasonable to think there might be 50 people out there.
I think it's a bit of a squish, I think.
That'd be a very nice problem to have, I can assure you. We're a relatively quiet venue, and I can never remember that many people out there.
Waste of time.
Okay. Have you still? Do you want to ask another question, Les?
If I may. It was just to remind everybody that the licence tables are restricted after 9 o'clock, and that it would make sense that both the private and the pavement licences were closed at the same time.
Does that make sense, John?
Not really. So you mean you want our patio seats taken out of use as well at 9 o'clock?
But if you did, that would get rid of our, hopefully get rid of our noise situation.
But coming back to this Saturday that you just mentioned, you said it was because people were standing and hovering outside that they were making.
Yes.
So we then went on to suggest that maybe it would be better if the seating remained on the patio.
No, what I'm saying is that the licensed pavement seating is restricted up until 9 o'clock.
Yes,
if we're going to have a notice on the door saying you can't take your drinks out after a certain time, it needs to be consistent for both areas, both your patio and the pavement.
Well, I mean, they're separate things. So the tables have to come off the patio at 9 anyway. But I think it's reasonable it's reasonable to serve drinks on the patio until, say, 10 o'clock. And then after 10 o'clock, we could go on to, I think it was Julie's suggestion that drinks aren't taken out after then.
It would make sense to me that all outside seating becomes null and void after 9 o'clock, wherever it's located. As far as going outside with a cigarette and no drinks concerned, that could be at any time. But obviously we don't want groups congregating. That's what we've been proposing. You kindly suggested 9:30 in the representations. We requested it be considered to be 9 o'clock to match Rustico and the pub.
Okay, I mean, there's a huge amount of outdoor noise from the pub, like till very late.
Not at the front. Not at the front.
Well, I can hear.
We're not aware of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult. We've got two parties, with competing views here and competing experiences, and it's not making it easy for us to differentiate.
I think 9 p.m. is slightly early because it's on a lovely summer's evening, sitting on our patio. It's still sunny at 9 o'clock sometimes. I think that's slightly early, but we are happy to comply with whatever the committee say.
Okay, Rebecca, you had your hand up.
Oh, it was just to say that your current conditions are saying that people outside must be seated, so there shouldn't be people standing. I'm just wanted to reiterate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't believe there are many people standing. I don't know what else to say. I mean, 24 is enough seats for pretty much people who come here. It's a very small venue. We don't have huge crowds.
Okay, Les, is that another question or is that your hand up from before? Okay.
Sorry.
Right. Now, what we normally move on to at this point is to have very, very brief summaries of representations. And I'll first of all bring in Emily as the licensing officer.
Thank you, Chair. As we've heard, this is an application for a variation to the premises licence for Lost and Found Taproom. Licensing guidance states that in determining the application with a view to promoting the licensing objectives in the overall interests of the local community, the licensing authority must give appropriate weight to the steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, the representations including supporting information presented by all the parties, the licensing guidance and its own statement of licensing policy. The licensing authority, after considering all the relevant issues, the licensing authority may grant the application subject to such conditions that are consistent with the operating schedule. If the panel decide to grant the application, then any conditions added to the licence should be clear, precise and enforceable. Alternatively, the licensing authority may refuse the application on the grounds that it is appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, thank you very much, Emily. John, would you like to? Have you got a summary?
Yep, just very briefly. We really do see ourselves, as Les kindly said, as a real community asset. We were jewel in the heart of Five Ways. We want to work with the customers. We want to work with our neighbours as well as the local community. I'm happy to really work closer with Les and everyone else in that pictures there. I thank them for saying they don't object to this per se. I think the one stumbling block is just finding the times when people do have to come in. We will work with whatever the committee say. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Les, would you like to have a final summary of your concerns? I think we've already had them, but I'll give you the opportunity anyway.
I feel exhausted. I'm sure you are as well. I think I just want to repeat from the Brighton Hove Council policy, the planning enforcement policy makes it clear that using premises outside their permitted hours or class is unlawful, even if a licence has been granted. But I've got to go back to that and say, until that's sorted, there's a question mark over this.
Thank you very much. I believe our Sarah Booker-Lewis has a question about surnames, family names from you all. Sarah, what will you? Yeah.
So we've got Les and Leslie Pond. I think that's pretty easy.
Pond, yeah.
Dudley Hume, Hume.
Yep. Okay.
Barbara Hawes,
Sarah, hang on, sorry, can I just Sarah said she couldn't hear that. Can we put it in the chat?
Barbara Hawes, Haws.
So that's Haws. That's sorry, what I didn't catch your first name, sorry.
Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, sorry, Barbara Hawes. And the other name?
Dudley, did you get me?
Yes. Is that your first name, Dudley?
Dudley, D-U-D-L-E-Y, H-U-M-E, Hume.
Right, I think we got there. There. Okay. You got that, Sarah? Anyway, I think she hasn't come back, so I think that's fine. Yes, she's got that. Thanks. That's in the chat. Okay, now I'm going to ask Rebecca to have final summing up for us, please.
Well, I don't think I've got anything really more to add. If you were minded to grant some kind of licence today, that doesn't mean that they can operate in breach of the planning restrictions, so they need to sort that out. But they are two separate regimes, so one doesn't But that's, yeah, so really if you've canvassed all the measures that you want to canvass, then it's up to you to make your decision. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, and on that, if there's nothing from anybody else, I think we can finish this meeting, and then myself and the other two panel members, Rebecca and Francis, will go into the separate virtual room where we will deliberate. We will be advised by Rebecca, and Frankie will be taking the minutes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheerio.
you.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.